So what's the most common Jiu-Jitsu warm-up exercise in any academy throughout the world? Well, I'd have to say it's breakfalls and front rolls. So we're gonna dedicate this whole video on teaching you how to properly do those two exercises. And we're starting right now. In group class sessions, warm-ups are done usually in a fast-paced environment where people are used to doing all of the exercises because they've been training for such a long time. Now, one of the most frequent questions I'm asked is how to properly do breakfalls and front rolls so students can actually perform them correctly during their classes in the warm-up sessions. Now, I find it so unfortunate that a lot of teachers and instructors don't spend the quality time with their beginning students to teach them correctly. They just throw them into the wolves. By wolves, I mean throw them into the group session with the warm-ups, and they expect each of these new students, and I'm talking people have never done jiu-jitsu before, their white belt is on, they have a trial class session gi, they're expected to know all of the warm-up exercises that most people know only when they've been training for quite a while. They're expected to know how to do all those tumbling exercises and how to break fall without looking super ridiculous. Because instructors don't want to spend too much time on dissecting how to correctly break fall, how to correctly do tumbling exercises, because that's kind of like part of the boring stuff all the time. Well, let me tell you, this is the most important stuff. This is what sets the tone for any beginning jiu-jitsu student. Now, if you're one of those new BJJ students that just joined an academy and you haven't been taught how to properly roll and fall, well, I'm gonna do my best today to teach you how they're done. It's how to do front rolls, maybe even back rolls correctly without injuring your neck and looking stupid doing them. And I'm gonna show you how we do those break falls that are so common in any BJJ or even judo academies, right? So, teach you the correct method so you guys can enjoy your next session and know how they're done properly without looking ridiculous and, best of all, not injuring yourself. Because that's the whole purpose of these exercises, to properly warm yourself up and to try as best as possible to prevent injuries. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So one of the first steps in order to learn how to properly break fall and doing all of the Ukemi techniques is getting very comfortable with the ground, in our case the mats. So what we like to teach is this. I'd like to see you guys just bend your knees and then just start doing a couple of repetitions of slapping your feet onto the ground as such. Then use your arms, palms facing downwards, and do the same thing. Next, we'll do them both together. Once you get comfortable with this, we'll proceed to the next step. Next up, I want you guys to start rocking using the rocking chair motion. So we're just gonna bend our knees, hold our shins, and then rock towards our back. I want to see you guys doing maybe 10 or 15 repetitions of this until you get comfortable before we proceed to the next move. Next up, now we're going to use the rocking chair motion, but now we're going to simultaneously slap our forearms to the mat at a 45-degree angle, palms towards the ground to create our first break fall motion. So it's very important when you're going to be doing your break fall that your chin stays tucked into your chest, your forearms slap together on the ground in one motion, and then you raise your feet off the mat. Alright, so now the next step, guys, once you're comfortable doing it from a seated position, level 2 might just be something as similar as standing on the ball of your feet into a squatting position like this. Now from the squat position, we'll just rock backwards. And from this side, it'll look like this. And last but not least, it's going to be doing it from the stand-up position. Now it's very important to make sure to slap with the palm of your hands once again towards the ground, so palms down. I want to see you guys keep your chin tucked in towards your chest to prevent your head from hitting the ground, and keep your legs tucked in as well. Now this progression of doing breakfalls from the seated, squatting and standing position will help you to gain confidence in falling backwards without having the fear of hurting yourself, especially in the beginning in Jiu-Jitsu. Now let's proceed to the side falls, or what we refer to as in Japanese, sokuhu ukemi. This position resembles lying on a couch watching TV. Learning how to fall properly may be one of the most important things to learn in your Jiu-Jitsu training in order to be able to practice most stand-up techniques such as throws and takedowns. Ukemi lays the foundation not only for the safety of the students, but for eventually learning more complex techniques later on. Slapping the mat with your legs, just your feet, eventually just your hands, and then both. Start by turning to your side and placing the palm of your hand 45 degrees away from your body. Your left hand will be resting onto your stomach. So the first part of learning Ukemi is becoming comfortable with the mat. Let's try left to right. Now, once you're comfortable from the lying position, we'll try from a squatting position, and slowly it'll look like this. We'll kick our leg out, fall to our breakfall. Stand back up to your knees. Kick, and slap to the mat. So from the stand-up position, which is the last level, we'll actually squat down, and don't be afraid to kick to the side and slap to the breakfall. On the opposite side, and one more time. And that's your side breakfall, guys. Alright guys, so now that we covered the falling breakfalls, now let's go into rolls. Front rolls are a great way to learn how to tumble and not break your fall, but just roll through either to the front or back. These are very common in Jiu-Jitsu dojos in order to learn all the mechanics of how to tumble properly. These are also efficient to really warm up your body and massage your back at the same time. So you'll see them very commonly used in all warm-up methods for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So we like to teach it doing the straightforward roll. So I'll do it in this fashion. So we'll bend our knees, post both hands to the mat, align elbows with our knees, and then we'll tuck our chin to our chest and roll onto the upper back. Stand back up. So from the side, and that's our straightforward roll. Now, once you're comfortable with these, it's time to move on to a proper way of doing front rolls. Our forward rolls are now going to be done without touching your head to the mat, mostly onto the forearm, elbow, shoulder, onto your opposite side lower back. When you're just starting out in Jiu-Jitsu, it's pretty intimidating to just roll over your shoulder from a stand-up position. So I'd like to see you guys drop one knee to the mat. Same side that you have your knee onto the ground, we'll post our hand here. Now if you notice here, there's a nice line between my foot and my hand posted on the mat. Okay, it's almost like a tripod. I'm gonna use my opposite hand and roll through, bringing my arm in between my elbows. And I'll finish into a kneeling position. Kneel onto the mat, post one foot up, hand on the same side into the same line as your foot. Use your arm and then turn your wrist and your palm towards the inside in order to roll through from the palm, elbow, shoulder, and upper back all the way down to opposite side hip. So it's gonna look like this. Rolling through into the same identical position as when I started. So if I'm going to this direction, and those are your forward rolls from kneeling position. But now that we're comfortable with the kneeling position, it's time to get ready for the last step, which is the stand-up position of forward rolls. So it's pretty simple once you got it down. The only important thing is to remember to always have a nice staggered stance and then always roll onto the same arm or shoulder as your lead foot. All right, so in this case, I have my left foot in front, nice staggered stance. I'll place my palms to the mat, fingers pointing each other, and I'll use my left arm to go ahead and start my roll. And notice I always try to roll onto my shoulder, tricep, upper back, all the way across from my shoulder into diagonal motion into my opposite side lower back or hip bone. Okay, so I'll do it from this angle. All right, now on to the last portion of our rolls. As a bonus, we'll show you guys how we do our back rolls, okay? So it's pretty simple. I'll do it in this direction, facing the camera. We'll start from a kneeling position, just like our front rolls. I'll lean back and roll over to my shoulder. As I drop my toes to the mat, flat foot, I'll simply roll, rolling on the side that my knee was posted up. I'll look into that direction, and that should reset my position in the same manner that I started. I can also post my hands to the mat. I can also throw my hands towards the roll as if I'm dropping a bucket of water over my head. So now in this direction, I'll post my hand on the mat, drop my feet. Notice I use my shoulder and my elbow to finish my roll. From this angle, you should always start from the same position that I started for my forward rolls. And then I can start to combine both of them together to warm up. Forward, backwards. Forward, back. Forward, and backward. All right, guys, so for the final part of our back roll session, it's going to be from our feet, from the stand-up position. So it's going to look about the same thing, and there's two ways to go about it. It's like the first one is simply rolling back up to your knees and feet, and the second method is going to be slapping your breakfall first and then rolling over your shoulder. So I'll show them both. One more time. Back up from the side. Using your elbow to post back up. And then it's this direction. Posting back up to your feet. And the second method is using your slap, or what we like to call Ukemi, in order to break your fall before you roll over. rolling over your shoulder. And that's your back roll. All right, guys, so hopefully I was able to help you guys out, giving you a couple of pointers on how to properly break fall, as well as roll to the front and back without injuring yourself, and also making you look a little less silly during those BJJ warm-ups. Until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing.